So it's make Argentina great again. It's make Israel better. It's anything but America first. And now he's going to take away food stamps the whole month of November. And let me tell you what, 1 out of every 5 people that are on food stamps are veterans. They have fought for this country, and President Trump is punishing poor people for the No Kings rally. That's what he's doing. See, President Trump doesn't want to be president anymore. He wants to be the king. He's already established everything that he has to do. And look, you've seen what them young Republicans were writing, and you've seen that guy come out and say, well, this is just what all Republicans do and say behind the scenes. It's no big deal. This is how we all feel. They're all racist, male chauvinist, pedophiles, and now they want us to accept that. Look, President Trump's ratings are dropping like the rent on a burning building. He doesn't care that you don't agree with what he's doing. He's just going to start punishing the poorest of us all. And that's making America great.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a 1-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world.
I am extremely frustrated being a full-time employed person living in Florida and not being able to afford to live. I have spent my whole fucking day off trying to find a, more affordable place to live, because I can't afford fucking $1,300 a month in rent, and then fucking a $650 car note, and then $300 in fucking insurance, and then you got utilities, and it's just, it's either I eat or I pay my bills, and then even then it's like, okay, well, which bill's gonna be fucking late this month? And I'm so fucking sick of it. Like all these fucking apartment complexes and realtors and even private renters, fuck you. Fuck you so fucking hard. And I mean that with everything in me. Fuck you. I, nor anybody else, should be working 60 plus hours a fucking week and not be able to fucking live. I'm about to crash the fuck out. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me losing my fucking mind. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm about to lose my shit because I just can't take it.
When I think of how the government's sold out, privatised so many areas of our lives, and they can keep putting the prices up and up and up they go, particularly on the toll roads and all this sort of stuff. I don't know, personally, knowing a number of people who don't have a house, they're paying rent every week, and if they've got a couple of children, how do they pay rent, pay all these heavy tolls, huge grocery bills, education, medical? And I think people are getting to the point where they've lost all hope in there being a better way of life than what they're experiencing now.
I don't think as a government you can ever do enough to ease the cost of living for people, because it's never going to be enough. I think what's really important is that governments can present a vision for a future that is optimistic.
Welcome guys, and today we are going to talk about when voting turns sour and now the expectations are no longer what people thought of. So most white people voted in a billionaire businessman with the hope that he'll change America and have things softer maybe on their side. But now every trip to buy goods and every trip to get services is turning up to be a hill, and the economy is not favoring anyone, including those who were chanting the MAGA slogans and voting in President Trump, maybe to be as a form of punishment to our black brothers and sisters and other immigrants, or maybe with the illusion that things will be better, only for them to worsen. Now everyone is suffering. Let's watch and get an insight of the effects of the voting, that the effects of people's choice has brought to the America of today.
This isn't me trying to fearmonger, this is just me trying to prepare you. The US economy right now is like a Jenga tower with 18 fucking pieces missing. We are one piece pulled out away from everything just toppling down. AI was responsible for 40% of US GDP growth this past year and 80% of US stock growth. And the manufacturing industry has contracted for 7 consecutive months, while every other economic indicator is saying this is as bad as things have been since 2009. Now, when you have a sentence that says the economy is as bad as it's been since 2009, you are fucked. So again, this is not me fear-mongering, this is just me preparing you. Our economy is in a very bad place. If you have a job, hold on to it with everything you have.
Life has gotten so expensive that it's not even worth trying to be frugal anymore. There's no point. You want a crashing out video about cost of living? Here's a crashing out video. So last month, our water bill was pretty high, $217 for the month. It was the highest I've ever had. I'm like, okay, let me look into this. Our usage was a little high. So I talked to my girlfriend. I say, let's try to conserve water. We did everything right. For the entire month, we turned off the sink while we were doing our dishes. We took short showers. I even used a timer during my showers. We consolidated loads of laundry. We did everything we could to save water. And you know what? We did a damn good job. We saved 500 gallons, which is awesome. You know, that is a great improvement. You want to guess how much my water bill was for this month? $215. We used 500 gallons less, and I saved $2 whole. Are you actually for real right now? But Zach, how could this be? The fees and the taxes went up so much in the course of 1 month. That's all we saved. So what's the point? Why am I being frugal about it? Doesn't make any sense. Just 5 years ago, my water bill was $130 a month. Granted, it was just myself. Now we're 2 people. I get it. It's going to go up, but come on. There is no such thing as saving money here anymore. There is no such thing as getting ahead, putting together a retirement. None of that. It is impossible. I don't know about you, but I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think anybody can afford anything anymore. And it's getting scary.
I am seriously starting to feel like it's just about impossible to live in the United States. And, you know, I don't want to seem like a lazy bum when I seen this, but I truly feel like it's just about impossible. If you weren't raised and given a good first hand in life, or a support team who will make sure no matter what that you don't fail, or, you know, having people that you're able to fall back on, you're blessed. And if you are one of those people, I highly suggest you thank those people near you, because a lot of us aren't blessed like that. I'm a 23-year-old dad. I've got 2 kids. I've got about to be a 5-year-old in May, and I've got a newborn too. She's just a few weeks old, like 3 weeks. So my wife gets to stay at home and take care of the babies, and I'm out here trying to get it. I'm on my 3rd shift job now. I'm a security officer for Allied Universal. No, I don't represent the company in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is just a job. I am not a part of this company. But, you know, and I work here from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. every single day, 8-hour shift. I get off of this 3rd shift job and I go directly into another job, which I just go around my city, finding side jobs. It might be a clean out one day and I go out there for another 5, 6, 7 hours. It might be landscaping another day. It might be painting one day. It could be, you know, it varies. I do what I can where I can. But therein, I go home and I have to stay up even longer to make sure that my lady is able to get her rest too, because, I mean, being a mom's a hard job. Yes, I'm working hard, but being a mom is a hard mental job as well in its own. So I have to stay up for a little bit in order to give her time to actually rest and get her sleep too, because she needs it. But I say that to say all this, you know, having people to fall back on. Let's say you're going down the road and, like my case, my heater core blows up. I don't have no one I can call to say, hey, can I borrow $400 so I can get my heater core replaced? Or, you know, you got $300-400 so I can get new tires on my vehicle. That is just something you have to figure out on your own. And if somebody with terrible credit, you can't just go get a loan for these things. The only loan you could get is a title loan. And in a lot of states, title loans are illegal for a reason. I'm stuck in this title loan, having to pay them back $4,300, but I have to pay $700 a month just to drive. That doesn't go toward my principal, on top of having to pay my rent and all the other bills just to survive. It's impossible. You know, I would never hurt or harm myself in any way, but sometimes I just wonder why. Why am I here? I mean, there's got to be a reason why, like, life is so hard for me. What if it's not meant for me? This shit drives a lot of people to anger, man, and I understand. I truly do. You know, people say maybe these next 4 years. No, this is literally impossible. There is nothing no president is able to do to save people from what we are having to go through. Housing at an all-time high. You know, you could go to another country and you can have the same homes here for 1/10 of the price that we're paying per month. Food the same exact way. And I just feel like it's impossible. If I was a drug addict, if I was a piece of shit dad, I could have so much more help. But with me out here trying to do everything the right way, you know, and nothing's working, nothing's helping. Life absolutely sucks right now. It truly, truly sucks. And there's no way to get out of it than to continue to dig myself into working and trying to come up out of this hole that seems impossible to come out of. You know, sorry for the rant. I'm not usually the ranting type. I'm just tired. I'm sick and fucking tired of having to live the way that we have to live just to survive, because it's nonsense. It truly is. I mean, I try my absolute hardest and I'm not getting anywhere. A lot of you are able to fall back on TikTok. I can't fall back on TikTok. Every time I try to get a video to blow up, it never does, and I'm not going against any standards. There's people doing way worse shit than me, and they're getting way more views and everything, but yet whenever I want views, I have to pay for them. Not me. I don't have that extra funding. And then you pay for it, and then there's no guarantee that you have those same people coming right back. You pay for the views, and then afterwards you're back in a 200 view jail, and that's it. TikTok's fucking stupid when it comes to income too. I don't know. I wish I can catch that big break. I wish I could get back to a life of, damn, we paid our rent, power, water, Wi-Fi, and insurance. That's our bills for the month, and we can afford that. Talking about saving money and being able to invest in land and a whole bunch of other stuff, it seems impossible. So, if you have that support team and you have a whole group of people that are there for you to make sure that you don't fall, be thankful for them, because there's a lot of us up here that one slip, one fuck up, one missed day out of work will cause us to lose our home, our vehicle, and to end up being on the streets. DSS is no help. CPS is no help. They won't help you until you're actually living on the streets. And once you are, they take your kids because you're an unfit parent. There's no help. You can't call these resource centers and everything like that. You can't depend on food banks for food because a lot of these food banks give you rotten meats and shit. It's just hard.
$17.33. That's how much I paid today for this coffee. I'm here and I'm just adding some numbers together and doing my budget because you know what? Today I asked my husband, where's the money? We're making the best we've ever made. Both earners, both incomes, good incomes and everything. And we don't have money. We're living paycheck to paycheck basically. So I put the numbers together and I decided to look at my budget. On June the 2nd, 2023, and I'm going to try to insert somewhere here the photo I took a shot of, how much I paid for it. On June the 2nd, 2023, the same exact coffee was $9.92. It's almost doubled in 2 years. Of course, my salary hasn't doubled. My income has not doubled. It went up a little bit, but certainly nowhere near that. And I don't know where my money goes. Every month, I'm struggling.
I'm 59th in line at the food bank. Let's see how long it takes and if there's any...
Ooh, I got a rant. So many people in this comment section are like, "Ooh, that's a lot of nice cars lined up at the food bank for free food. Why don't they sell their car? If they're so poor, why do they have a car? Why are they driving a car?" First of all, people are unemployed. I don't know if you missed that, but 59,000 previous federal workers are out of work thanks to the administration. These were previously super stable, well-paying jobs, serving the public. So if you previously had a well-paying, stable job, wouldn't you feel comfortable having a car payment? Maybe they were living within their means. What are they supposed to do? According to these commenters, they're supposed to sell their car. One person said, you should sell everything, and then once you have nothing, then you can go to the food bank. Let's talk about why that's a patently ridiculous proposal. First of all, most Americans are car dependent. Much of America is rural. Our public transportation systems are terrible. Suburban sprawl is everywhere, and 76% of Americans use a car to get to work. And the other 24% though, most of those are concentrated in the big cities, Outside of major cities, it's incredibly difficult to have a job without a car. In fact, most of our job applications say that you have to have reliable means of transportation, like a car, and show a driver's license in order to be employed, because they don't want to deal with you not being able to get to work because public transit, walking, biking, etc. is not reliable. Ridiculous. What if they sell their car and get a cheaper one? Just sell your car and get a cheaper one. Here's the thing. Okay, say that somebody had a Subaru Forester that they bought last year for $32,000, and they had really good loan terms because they had a stable job and great credit. They decided to sell their Subaru Forester, which is worth $8,000 less. And so in order to sell it, because they're still paying it off, they need to come up with the difference between the loan and what it's worth. So they need to come up with thousands of dollars in cash right away that they may or may not have. So they do that, and then they sell their car, and then they get a new loan on a less expensive car, which saves them how much money? Maybe $100 or $150 a month. For what could be a temporary issue. They could be employed next month. Doesn't it make sense to just keep what you have? But what if they were just being financially irresponsible? What if they couldn't afford the car at all and they shouldn't have bought it? So what you're proposing is that the punishment for being financially irresponsible is that people starve? They starve? That's the punishment? Patently ridiculous. Okay, what if they're not being irresponsible, they didn't lose their job? What if they're just scamming? They're just scamming. They can afford food and they're just there taking advantage. Okay, first of all, do you think that an average scammer is gonna wait in line for 90 minutes in the heat of Florida summer for a package of food that's like store brand, possibly expired, and not what they've picked out? It's just whatever is given to them. Do you think that that sounds like a good use of a scammer's time? They could afford to just go to the grocery store and buy whatever they want. Does that make sense to you? Okay, what if they are scamming? What if there is something so wrong with them that that is what they want to be doing with their time? Okay, how do you propose stopping them from doing that? Do you want to make actual poor people do a whole bunch of fucking paperwork in order to prove that they actually need it to weed out the 2 individuals in this line who are scamming? You want to waste program time and program money that could be used to distribute food to investigate these individuals? Ridiculous. In summary, mind your business. People need to eat food, and you have absolutely no idea what in their life has brought them to the point of sitting in a line in a car in the Florida heat for 90 minutes to get a package of random food.
But I fucking hate that phrase, cost of living crisis, right? The cost of living. It's the living that's the problem, right? Like somehow it's our fault for being alive. The arrogance of it all, right? Personally, I thought it was because corporate greed had manifested itself into basic human rights like shelter, electricity, and warmth. But no, it's all the fucking living I've been doing. That's the issue. God! If I could just not be alive, that'd be great. That'd be so convenient. Actually, I'm thinking about dying for the winter. I think that's my vibe. No, the guy, I get worried about this stuff, right? And the guy I got high with, he was like, dude, man, you gotta relax. You just gotta live a little. It's like, in this economy? I can't afford to be living right now. But it's weird. I mean, I don't know. Were you guys alive a few years ago? I don't know. I remember being alive a few years ago. I was sitting there and I was like, man, this is so affordable right now. They're practically giving this shit away for free. It's great. It's tough. It's tough. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm hoping to move house, actually. My friend was like, are you going to rent? And I said, no, I'm looking to die, actually. I'm looking to die at the moment, you know. My mother said she'd help me out, so I actually might be able to die sooner than I thought I would. That's good. You know, once you get out of the city, the coffins, they're just so much more affordable. The fresh air, it's good. It's nice for the kids, you know. They enjoy it. Too dark? That one was a bit too dark.
Welcome back again, guys. And as we can see, is that today in America, people are crying. Whether you voted or not for Trump, your people are crying. More so the working class Americans, white Americans, they are complaining, and it's no longer a walk in the park. In rural America, people are finding it hard to go day by day, because the same people who chanted "Make America Great Again" are the same people who are now witnessing as their communities are crumbling. These are people who are witnessing as their farms are closing, farms are going bankrupt, the factories are closing, and they are no longer hiring. So this is a matter of reality checking in. You see, this is reality catching up, and they are not going to accept it as easily as they voted. But it's the whole truth that reality is catching up. Immigrants were sent away and were being arrested and held into custody, being deported, and done all sorts of things, but nothing is changing. So you're wondering, is it a gain or a loss to them? Because for me, I feel it's more of a loss, because these immigrants were the basic workforce of the American community and the American economy, because most builders were mostly immigrants. Most people doing the most manual works were mostly immigrants, you see. So by sending them away, even the farm owners don't have people who can help them in the farms. So they find it hard because most white Americans are not used to the hard work. They are out there mostly having to employ other people. But what happens when you send away or arrest the people who are helping you? The task force is gone. The workforce and the backbone of the manual work is gone. So you're left with a lot of work, mostly like you find in the farms. Maybe the farm produce are going bad because the people who would have helped you to maybe sort them out and get them to the markets or wherever place you are going to process them into final commodity are not there at all, you see. So all the tactics they were using to kind of make it look like were the hindrances for them to continue growing went all in vain, down the drain. They blamed minorities for taking their work and all that, all sort of crap that they were putting out there. And nothing has changed at all. Nothing has changed. You see, so what they didn't put in the mind is that the hatred that they were spreading out there didn't change anything because everybody suffered equally. Everybody suffered equally. If a black man had to buy something for a certain amount, there was no exception because you were white. With you, you had the choice of changing things, but you chose what you thought would favor you. So now when everyone is suffering, you're dragged into it, whether you like it or not, you see? So I feel it's still a loss to them because you, when making choices, they should be at least favoring you. And if not, they should be fair. But making choices with the thought of having the favor coming to you, and then it's by backfiring on your face, that's not what everyone expects. Most promises of MAGA were made by Trump, but left most white families with empty promises and higher bills that they themselves cannot manage. And again, leaves you with a lot of questions because why? These are people who are, I wouldn't say exploited, but they got swindled in some way. These are people who made the wrong move with the expectations that never came to pass because it's only the super rich that are benefiting well. But for the average white man and woman out there, or white family, the suffering is constant. Those are my short remarks, and I would kindly ask you to leave your remarks on the comment section, then like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and watch us grow together. Goodbye, guys.